Yeah, so just to explain what we're doing is the boys here at Jan had set up a really nice, I'm sure slightly beer-filled interview, and we're in Prague, obviously whizzing around, and I've got to go to Frankfurt, obviously, and so we ran late at the event today, so we're now going to take a page from the great Gary Vee's book and do it in a hurry in the back of, well, he normally has a limo, we're in a very nice Prague taxi cab. So it's not quite, it's like a poor man's Gary Vee, I think. Is what
Gary Vee, all right.
And he's on his own talking to himself, and I've got you talking to me, so normally Gary just yatters on his own, doesn't he? Like, kind of like what I'm doing now. Anyway, right.
I wanted to ask, you've been fighting against the concept of digital marketing in the world of marketing and against the tactification of marketing.
Yes.
Could you explain why that is? How did it come to be?
Let's start with the fact that I'm still losing on both fronts. I think there's two different topics there. So the first one is tactification. So that's the sort of absolute obsession with marketers with the idea of it's all about tactics, and it is approximately a third about tactics. But before the tactics, we have to have a strategy, and strategy doesn't have tactics attached to it by definition. And before we have strategy, we have to have research and diagnosis upon which we build the strategy. And so I'm not. It's not my personal sort of insight. It's how we are meant to do marketing and how we haven't been doing marketing for some time. So just tactics kind of floating around without any strategy or any diagnosis. And your second point, Jan, so not only is it tactified, but when we look at tactics, it tends to be a predominant obsession with digital media.
Yeah.
Which there's anything wrong with that. I think there's very good reasons why you would spend a significant amount of your budget on digital media of whatever. Obviously search is pretty hard to argue against. Digital video more so, but there are good reasons why you would do it. It just, in my opinion, in many cases appears that many brands have overspent on it. They're more short term. They are effective. They are efficient, but they're not effective. And I think it's not the optimum spend, and that's what I'm trying to redress the balance somewhat.
Okay. And why do you think that you're losing that battle?
I'm losing it for a number of reasons. First of all, I never thought it was a battle that could possibly be won, in the sense that I have a very good friend. We're on a really good cobbled street here for the interview. I have a very good friend who's the chief marketing officer, who's always pointed out to me that we're not curing cancer. And his point is, at the end of the day, you don't fix marketing, because that's not what we're here to do. Just help the clients that get it to make more money than the ones that don't. We're competing. And so I think that I never realized that way before, but he did explain it to me. And he's right. I mean, at the end of the day, we actually want a lot of companies to be tactical and to spend most of their money on digital, so that the companies that don't can be more successful. And that's kind of been, so I'm losing, but I'm winning in a small part of the market, which is paying me very well, and they're being very successful.
All right.
Yeah, Gary Vee never gets cobbles. Have you noticed that? It's always a very smooth. I suspect he's not really traveling anywhere. He's got a VR kind of backdrop.
And he's doing VR conferences only, I hear.
Is he really? I mean, up close and personal in the.
I've heard about that, by the way, VR conferences. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, I'm massively in favour of doing those. I mean, I'd probably do as many VR conferences as possible in the next one.
Think about it. It's a very strange sort of a scenario where you sit down with a VR headset and you just watch.
Well, if I can do it from my house and avoid 24-hour plane journeys, I reckon it's the one time I'd be in favour of VR. Yeah, if I can earn the same amount of money without having to go anywhere, yes, let's do it. Is it too late for Prague?
Yeah, it's too late for Prague. I think the people actually want to see you. So.
Well, yeah.
For that.
I tell you, on that note, there is a peculiar thing. So I offer this Mini MBA program, this online training course, and one of the interesting things is I'm actually way better in video format than live, and I'm starting to realise that I'm quite disappointing in the flesh.
I don't think so.
Well, no, but video Mark is he's never hungover, he's well edited. Yeah. You see what I mean? It's you had to. He's well lit. Yeah. He's got interesting backdrops, and live Mark really isn't. He's slightly hungover. He's badly lit. It's a real problem to be beaten by yourself.
By a video version of yourself.
By a video version of myself that's only about 3 inches high. But yeah, no, I'm definitely losing badly at the moment. So maybe the VR thing has future after all.
Right, my next question is a bit intentionally stupid, but
Intentionally stupid.
Yeah, brand management versus brand purpose. You've written about that extensively.
Yeah, look, that one's getting worse too. So I don't know if you saw, but the president of Europe for Unilever last week wrote a very long LinkedIn post, and I'm not paraphrasing here. She said, "I want to get the brand manager role at Unilever is dead. I want to replace it with brand activists," and then proceeded to write about another 3 or 4 paragraphs of nonsense. And that's a sort of double blow. First of all, it's Unilever, which is one of our special, companies in terms of being one of the great marketing companies in the world, and it's not some lunatic, that's, some salesperson. It's the president of Europe is saying that. So, what to say? So brand purpose is a thing. It's a real thing. And I think, first of all, there are certain companies and certain brands that were built on purpose. And you could mention Patagonia, Ben & Jerry's, Unilever. Yeah, these are genuinely purpose-driven companies. The other 98% are just basically jumping on a bandwagon. And I wonder if sometimes they're missing. First of all, they think their brands are some big, gigantic deal, And brands are a small thing. There's nothing wrong with saying that. They're small, unimportant things in the life and context of a customer. And I think as well, a lot of these companies are missing, I think, the role that brand purpose plays, perhaps for employees, which does make more sense. Why do we work other than money? So I think there's more of an employer brand angle to it. But, for the most part, you'll find that brand purpose fails the 3 C's test. Customers don't care. I mean, if you say to them, do you want a brand that's nice to people and animals and responsible in the environment? Of course, everyone says yes. If we then say, are you prepared to pay more for it and so on, I think there's a different response often, unfortunately. And, all these brand purposes look the same, getting more out of today, living better for tomorrow. They're all very similar to each other. And so I think generally and the last part is the companies themselves don't live up to it. Many of the worst organizations in the world have brand purpose and are behaving abysmally. I mean, I don't think we've ever lived in a less purposeful time than right now. The examples are legion. You've got, Google, although they're trying to keep it quiet, has a riot on its hands with its employees because many of them unknowingly were working on bombing software for drones. How's that for brand purpose? Amazon pays some of its workers so little they have to get food stamps to survive. I mean, this is not a purposeful age, I'm afraid. So yeah, where brands have legitimacy, purpose is great. I think a lot of the time it's bullshit.
How can we as marketers be proud of our work without resorting to this sort of bullshit about building communities?
It's a good question, Jan. I mean, I think the first thing is let's recruit marketers that want to be marketers. I think a lot of the time these people are not really, there's no shame in making a good product or service, in satisfying customers and making a profit from it. In fact, I think it's one of the things you could be most proud of. Not generating revenue. You guys could run a conference and you could generate, 500,000 crowns of revenue, and there's no pride in that because anyone can make a revenue. To make a profit from something, I believe, is something that, without hurting the environment or hurting people or anything else, of course, but making a profit is something to be immensely proud of because it's not very easy, as you well know. So yeah, I think the main lesson is let's find people who are actually motivated by working for great brands, for building great products, offering wonderful services, satisfying customers, and making a profit. I'm not saying we're going to spend it on cigars and cars and stuff. What I'm saying is there's a capitalist pride in making money that doesn't have to be at the cost of the earth or any person. And so I think it's just finding proper marketers rather than people who pretend to be marketers for a while and then lose interest.
Maybe my next question would be about Marketing Festival, because
yeah, very excited about this.
So that happens in March, as we all know.
No, it's very big, Jan, I must say, right?
It's going to be pretty big, yeah.
In England, we say it's fucking huge, because I must say, when I first met you, I just thought you were some lunatic Czech who turned up and was sort of like asking me about this conference shit. I'm like, oh fuck, he's not going to be able to pay any money, and I'll do it, but only because I liked you. I was like, oh fuck, I'll have to spend a day with like fucking conference. It's going to be like 8 people and a fucking guide dog, you know. And then I looked at the website, because you were very good. You said, well, have a look at our website. And you sort of said it in a self-depreciating way. I thought, yeah, it's going to be fucking 8 people on the website, you know what I mean? There's fucking millions of people. It's huge. It's mega. It's mega. Like bigger than anything in America or London, basically, right? Yeah, it's like 3,000 people, wasn't it?
It's going to be about 2.3, I think.
Not when I'm finished with you, it's not.
Okay.
I'm going to get you fucking 3,000 people if it kills me.
What's your experience with working in with companies in the Czech Republic? Is there any, or do you...
Zero. I've done a lot of consumption over the years in Prague, specifically of beer and schnapps. I think I've almost drank as much as a native Czech. I've had about 15 visits to Prague, and every time it's been a winner. So I like the products and services, but I've never worked with a Czech company unless I've forgotten. I met a lot of them today. I did a big event for the TV Association here to talk to a lot of the big companies about advertising and planning for 2019. And I have to say, everybody came. We filled the place out, and then there was about another 25 at the back standing, which is always good. And I have to say, there's a passion here for doing stuff that it's impressive. Yeah, it's a good marketing community. So far, anyway. I've only been here a day.
You're doing a course for marketers who want to get better
at
what they do. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so I've been teaching marketing at business schools on the MBA programs at some of the top schools for about 25 years. That's how old I am. So I've taught, and on an MBA program, you do a 2-year course. You do the first year, which is core courses, finance, accounting, marketing, and then you do electives in the second year. So I used to teach the core marketing course, basically the whole marketing course. And I taught that at London Business School and at MIT in America, University of Melbourne. So I've taught it all over the place. And about 3 years ago, I created, using the same content and material and readings, we created an online product called the Mini MBA in Marketing. And it's been a revelation. I mean, I teach the same course in the same 12-week structure with an exam and everything else. It's 100% online. It's a little bit live, but otherwise you can do it around your full-time job. We get about 1,000 people signing up for each course. And the thing I'm most proud of is we have a net promoter score of about plus 70. So that's almost Apple in terms of level of quality. But at the moment, we've had about nearly 4,000 people have now gone through it. And about 90% of them say it makes them more confident in their marketing skills. And about 92% say it makes them more effective immediately as a marketer. And so we've built this little community on this course. And we want more people to do it, obviously. It's not very expensive. It's about £1,200. I don't know what that is in crowns, 30 crowns. But it's an amazing course, and we have a few Czechs that have done it so far, and they all seem to have really enjoyed it. So we want more, and we'd love to have you. We run it in April and September, 2 intakes a year, 100% online, and we definitely want to recruit more Czechs into the program.
One final question, because Rich is probably dying right now.
He's doing very well.
What can we expect from your lecture at the Marketing Festival? Expletives?
Oh, I think there's certain things that you're guaranteed. I think we'll have some, obviously the slides will be homemade, which means they'll be bad. I will probably be swearing in Czech. I've already learned my first Czech word, which is ahoy, which I like very much because we say ahoy in Australia, but only when we're on boats. So the ability to say ahoy at any point in time is a definite, I think, advance for me. It's one of the reasons Czech culture is more advanced than Australian culture. You can just say ahoy without being on a boat. But yeah, I will learn some Czech expletives. But the rest of the content, I'm proud to say, is undeveloped because it will be done closer to the time when new stuff happens. I think there's anything worse than turning up with the same old shit. You know what I mean? And you have to do some similar shit, of course, in one period. But the nice thing about March is we'll have whole new barrels of stuff to talk about. But yeah, if you can promise me 2,500 Czechs in a room, I think we can set fire to the curtains, as we like to say in England.
We absolutely can't wait. Mark, thank you so much for taking the
Good
time.
to see you again, Jan. Sorry we couldn't do it in a pub, but obviously because we've got a luxury town car, this was very easy to do.
Thank you. cut.